Now we will assemble the bottom section of the dual extruder. What we need for this is the two assemblies that we assembled previously with the hot ends, 3 of the laser cut components, the 2 longer ones that looks like this, and then the shorter one that looks like this, 1 M4 by 25 cap screw, 2 M4 by 16 cap screws, 3 M4 lock nuts, 2 M3 standard nuts, and then 8 M4 washers. We will take one of the hot end assemblies, and we will take the smaller one of the laser cut components, and now we will mount the bearing to the laser cut component. Now this is the center piece of the center rib of the 3 ribs between the hot end assemblies. So if these wires are going to the right hand side, it means that we'll use this one for the hot end that will be on the right hand side, and that one with the wires that goes to the left hand side, we'll use that for the hot end that's on the left hand side. So this one will fit in between them, and we'll use the M4 by 25 screw to mount them. And how we do that is we will take this assembly, we will push out the outside flanged bearing, because this screw will need to go through that hole. Let me get the long nose pliers. We'll need to go through that hole, through that bearing. Once that screw is through the bearing, we'll take 2 washers. We'll put it on. We will take the perspex piece and we will put it on. So this forms the top of this piece. That's the back and that's the bottom. So the bottom will need to face upwards, and then we put it through the hole, that it looks like that. Now these 2 M3 nuts, it's difficult to add them later to the assembly, so they fit into that position and that position, and when we mount that one to this side, we won't be able to get them in. So while we mount this one on, we need to make sure that they are in place. So what we do is while we attach that one, we put them in. So on this side of the perspex part, we again put 2 washers. So there's 2 washers on the one side, 2 washers on the other side, and then this one will fit on like that. So before we can put that one on, we need to make sure that the 2 M3 nuts are in place. Now we can put this one on, and then the M3 nuts should stay in place, and we take one of the M4 lock nuts. We can hold it in place with the long nose pliers, and then we screw this all together. You can tighten it so that everything is tightened together, and at the end the bearings should allow the different components to turn relative to each other. So now we have tightened the M4 by 25 cap screw, and you'll see that now those 2 M3 nuts are, it cannot fall out. If they do, you can just put them back. So now we'll put this flanged washer back, and now we'll make sure that all the bearings are still in position. Because it's flanged bearings, this printed component can move towards the center, so we need to make sure that the gap between the black printed component and the laser cut component, those gaps are the same. You'll see when we mount this assembly in the frame that it will be pulled to the outside to make sure that the bearings cannot fall into the center. Now we will fix the other two Perspex components to the side. So how we do that is we take the M4x16 screw, we put it through the Perspex component, we put two of the washers on, we push it through the flanged bearing, and we put the M4 lock nut. We put it in from the inside. Let me see if I can get that angle right. Now the assembly will look like this. So the sides will still be a little bit loose because these two outside screws aren't tightened, and everything is positioned as shown here. Now we will fix the top plate to the assembly that we have just assembled. So we've carefully turned this assembly around. What we'll need additionally for this is the Perspex component that looks like this. We will need two M3x12 screws, one M3x16 and two M3 standard nuts. So we'll position this one on top of this assembly. Make sure that those M3 nuts doesn't fall out. You'll see that there's cutouts in this top plate for those three ribs at the bottom to slot into. And then firstly we will take the M3x16 screw. It will go into the middle. And we can tighten that. Then we will take the two M3 nuts. They will fit into the slots provided on the side so that we can fix the M3x12 screw through that hole. And then when we've fixed it, you can see it looks like that. And we'll fix this one to the other side. So we'll put it into the slot and we'll put the M3x12 screw. We'll put it in from the top. And we'll fasten that. So that already gives a bit more structure to the assembly. Now we will put this aside and we'll first prepare the back section of the extruder, and then we'll fix it to the side here.